football's ultimate defender, making Messi run scared. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 76, Super Curved Ball. The king of football arrives, breaking through Manchester City's defense alone. Skill activated successfully. The system prompt sounded in my mind. The raised thigh was instantly filled with great power. Like the battering ram of ancient siege, it fell hard and hit the football. A crisp sound. Like the whistling sound of a cannonball being fired. The power was extremely huge. The football was visibly deformed and rushed towards the goal. It whizzed past Manchester City's defense line and headed straight for the upper right corner of the goal. Ederson was shocked. In an instant, he did everything that all top goalkeepers could do in this situation. He stretched his body in the air with one palm open and pounced on the football like flying, watching his palm getting closer and closer to the football. That is, the difference is less than 1 centimeter. But this 1 centimeter is like a natural chasm at this moment. He can see it but can't catch it. He missed the football. Dang! A sound of collision between steel and steel. The football hit the crossbar in the dead corner of the goal. It didn't go as all the Manchester City players hoped. It bounced off the crossbar and finally landed in the goal. The Liverpool fans in the away area of the stands roared violently like a volcanic eruption. The sound waves generated in an instant seemed to collapse the Etihad Stadium. Firmino sets up a cannon and passes it back. Chen Mo advances and shoots. The ball goes in. The tomahawk missile breaks the goal. Chen Mo, remember the tomahawk, splitting Manchester City's shot. 1 o'clock. Less than 7 minutes into the game, Chen Mo helped Liverpool score a goal and took the lead. For more goals. After the goal, Chen Mo did not celebrate, and the entire Liverpool team did not celebrate, too. Only on the field, the moment of the goal, the Liverpool players just cheered and waved their arms, but no one ran to Chen Mo to celebrate. Chen Mo did not even see the cheers. After seeing the goal, he ran wildly at the first time, ran to the Manchester City goal, picked up the football from the king of football, and ran to the center circle. No time to celebrate. Although the game had only started for less than 10 minutes, but Chen Mo didn't want to waste time celebrating, and his teammates were also 11-1. They all knew it. They were still 4 goals behind. To complete the reversal and advance to the Champions League semi-finals, they had to score 5 goals to win. Every minute was crucial to them, so the moment Chen Mo picked up the ball from the net, all the teammates ran back to their own half. They had to restart the game immediately. Go for a goal. Go for an attack. Sidelines. Coaching area. The coaching areas on both sides formed a sharp contrast. Klopp was now in the coaching area, jumping and waving his fists wildly to celebrate, and yelling at the field. Great job. Just play like this. Guardiola, on the other hand, see the restart, closed his jaw that had just dropped in shock. He had seen Chen Mo's tomahawk missile goal from the game video and highlights, but what he saw on the video was not as shocking as the scene. That unreasonable ball speed, that violent power, that tricky angle, they are all so unsolvable. Guardiola could hardly imagine that Chen Mo, who was so thin, could burst out with such great power. It would be hard for a goalkeeper to defend such a ball, right? Guardiola thought so. We were 1 goal behind at the start. He didn't have any worries. Even if they scored a goal, they still had a 4-goal lead. Even if they let Liverpool score a goal, they still had a 3-goal lead. Besides, could Liverpool guarantee that their team would not score? He was confident in his front court attack group. Manchester City was scored a goal after the kickoff. Instead, they became calmer. Anyway, they were leading. There was no need to be too anxious on their side. So after the kickoff, Manchester City's players began to stabilize and pass the ball backwards to start the pass control. They wanted to stabilize the rhythm that was obviously too fast just now. Continuous fast pass without stopping the ball. Triangle position. The football began to be passed frequently, as if it was interwoven into a big net. Liverpool could only rush up to press, but Manchester City's passing speed was too fast. The effect of the press was not very good. Firmino, Salah, and Mane in the front court were all treated as dogs. Even Henderson and Milner rushed up to help. The opponent's passing was still orderly. It was even obvious that he was deliberately passing the ball back in the backcourt, trying to lure the enemy deep into the field and let Liverpool's lineup completely press forward. Henderson, come back, I'll do it. After discovering the opponent's intention, Chen Mo, who had been in a position a little in front of the center circle, immediately called Henderson and asked him to retreat and follow Wijnaldum to the defensive midfielder position. Chen Mo rushed up directly. The next second, the situation suddenly changed. It may be that the pressure brought by Chen Mo was too great. It may also be that Manchester City's players were too afraid of Chen Mo's ability to steal. Their passing was no longer slow. It was obvious that the passing speed had increased. The moment Bernardo Silva passed the ball to De Bruyne, Chen Mo rushed towards him. De Bruyne did not stop the ball at all. Seeing Chen Mo rushing towards him, he passed the ball to Gundogan at the first time, but all this was predicted by Chen Mo. Chen Mo did not want to rush De Bruyne at all. He was just bluffing. His real target was Gundogan. Using his super explosive power, Chen Mo accelerated suddenly and rushed directly towards Gundogan, who received the ball. When the ball was passed to Gundogan, Chen Mo also arrived in front of Gundogan at the same time. He even stretched out his foot at the same time as Gundogan raised his foot to stop the ball, and he was one step faster than Gundogan. He suddenly raised his foot above the ball, and with a downward split, he pressed the sole of his foot down suddenly, pressing the ball on the grass, and Gundogan raised his foot to stop the ball and missed. While the opponent was not stable, Chen Mo immediately made a straight pass. The ball passed under Gundogan's crotch. Behind Gundogan, Main had already been in position and rushed out, dribbling the ball and cutting across the penalty area. Suddenly a whistle sounded. Main, who was cutting across, was knocked to the ground by Fernandinho. Fernandinho filled in behind Gundogan, but he was a step too slow. Main had already dribbled the ball and cut across. Firmino advanced in the penalty area, and Sulla cut in from the edge. Their defense was stretched to a mess. In this case, whether Main passed the ball to Sulla, passed it directly to Firmino, or shot it himself, it would be a serious threat to his own goal. In a hurry, Fernandez didn't care about anything else, and rushed up and knocked Main to the ground, forming a tactical foul, because it was a direct collision. The referee saw it clearly and stopped the game decisively. He ran to Fernandez and warned him. There was no dangerous action, it could only be regarded as excessive physical confrontation, and no yellow card was shown. Verbal warning. At the same time, Liverpool was awarded a free kick. Fernandez's foul. Liverpool won a free kick in the front court. Let's see who will take the free kick next. Firmino, Main, Sulla, Henderson, Milner, Chen Mo, all have good free kicks. Sulla is the first free kicker in the team. It should be. When he got here, Sulla picked up the football on the field and came directly to Chen Mo and handed the football to Chen Mo. Sulla, give the ball to Chen Mo. Chen Mo will take the free kick this time. In previous games, Chen Mo has kicked out a crescent moon blade and a heavy artillery to hit the goal, and there is a record that has not been broken yet. Chen Mo has scored every free kick. Therefore, Chen Mo's free kick goal rate is now 100%. Manchester City arranged the wall. Ederson was so anxious that his teammates shouted, "De Bruyne, you are a little left. That guy's free kick is very dangerous." Hurry. Chen Mo had already placed the football, stepped back several steps, and stared at the opponent's wall. To be honest, the position of the free kick is just in front of the top of the arc. This position is really too straight. Often, it is more difficult to take the penalty when the position is too straight. Because the opponent's wall, the space left will be very small. But fortunately, Chen Mo still has an S-arc skill card that has not been used. The signature skill of the free kick master Juninho can kick a free kick in the air like an S-shaped snake. It is very confusing and can bypass the human wall. It is definitely the best choice for a free kick in this position. The referee blew the whistle. Chen Mo runs up, shoot directly. In the roar of Jean June, Chen Mo's right foot slammed the football hard with the outside of his right foot, and at the same time, there was a toe-tilting movement. The football suddenly rotated violently and drew an arc from the upper left of the human wall. After seeing the direction of the football, Ederson quickly moved to the left side of the goal, staring at the football with his eyes. But just when he was ready to save, the football made an extreme arc in the air, changed direction, and went straight to the right of the football. A standard snake-shaped S-shaped arc. This caught Ederson off guard. He quickly moved his body and flew to the right side of the goal. But it was too hasty after all. 1,000 miles away from the football. Abu. The football went straight to the right corner of the goal and hit the net, still spinning at high speed, and slowly stopped when it landed on the grass. Beautiful. The ball went in. S-curve free kick. At this moment, Chen Mo was like the free kick master Juninho, kicking a free kick that had disappeared from the football world for a long time and was almost impossible to score. He used an impossible free kick to help Liverpool score again in the 31st minute of the game, 2-0. The big score is 2-5. There are still 60 minutes left in the game. Liverpool still has a chance. It was just like the previous goal. There was no celebration. Firmino rushed into the goal, picked up the football and ran to the center circle. Liverpool quickly retreated to their own half, waiting for the game to start again. Klopp excitedly waved his fist again. 2 goals in a row. Chen Mo scored twice. There was still plenty of time in the game, which gave Klopp more confidence to turn the tide. But Guardiola was anxious. He rushed out of the coaching seat and stood on the sidelines and yelled at the court. #9. Attack all the way. Don't give Chen Mo a chance to get close. He saw it. Chen Mo's ability to steal alone can really suppress his own front court attack group. If Chen Mo is allowed to play so comfortably, the game will be really difficult. Maybe it will really be overturned. So he hurriedly yelled at the court. He needed to attack. He needed the team to score. Completely strangle Liverpool in the first half. Get the coach's order. After Manchester City kicked off, it was obvious that they didn't want to suppress the rhythm. They started to attack frantically, Continuous passing and cutting, 1-foot pass, triangle forward, and continuous interspersed passes. Tic-Tac's power was fully demonstrated. The pace of passing the ball accelerated. It didn't give Liverpool players any chance to rush up and press, using the pass to continuously split Liverpool's formation. Even Chen Mo began to be overwhelmed. He was only one person after all. With the help of God-level prediction, it may be predicted, but it doesn't mean that the body can do it. Especially Manchester City's players have learned to be smart. As long as Chen Mo rushed up, they would immediately launch a long pass and dispatch on a large scale. The distance is too far. Even if Chen Mo predicted it, he still couldn't rush over. Don't mention him. Mbappe's speed is not good, even Bolt would be in trouble. Because when you rush over, the opponent has already completed the pass. In a moment, Manchester City's 780 offensive group began to show its power. The offense and defense of both sides changed. There was a panic in front of Liverpool's penalty area. Continuous pass. De Bruyne crossed Aguero, Wijnaldum missed a man. Aguero's long shot. Danger, Van Dijk, at the critical moment. Van Dijk saved the team and blocked Manchester City's must goal. Liverpool got the ball. Manchester City players immediately started a crazy counter grab on the spot and surrounded and blocked Henderson. Seeing that Henderson was about to lose the ball due to the three-man double team, Chen Mo suddenly rushed into the encirclement. "Give me the ball." He rushed to Henderson and shouted. Henderson subconsciously gave the ball to Chen Mo. The next second, Chen Mo held the ball. David Silva, Bernardo Silva, and Aguero, who double-teamed Henderson, instantly gave up on him and turned to rush towards Chen Mo. Chen Mo's momentum changed the moment he controlled the ball. Maradona moment is successfully activated. The system's prompt sound rang in his mind. Chen Mo successfully used the experience card that he had just obtained. Manchester City's attacks came one after another, and their morale was getting stronger and stronger. If they continued like this, it would be a matter of time before they scored. He had to hit Manchester City hard. Nothing could hit Manchester City's morale more than the moment of the king of football. Facing three people scrambling, Chen Mo made a quick dunk, and then he slammed the ball deep back with his heel, and turned his body. The three people were shocked and rushed behind Chen Mo, but the next second, after completing the excitement of turning, he suddenly raised his foot to pull the ball, and then he slammed the ball with his heel. He turned around again. These two consecutive heel slams and turns attracted the attention of the three people. At the moment of the second turn, a wide space appeared behind him. Chen Mo suddenly rushed forward with the ball. Fernandinho rushed up to fill the position, staring at Chen Mo. Seeing the moment of being close to Chen Mo suddenly paused, then clamped the football with his heels and sent it forward behind him. The football drew a beautiful rainbow in the air and flew over Fernandinho's head. Chen Mo turned sideways and accelerated suddenly. The explosive power brought by the Demon Boy's body made Fernandinho unable to keep up. At the moment of turning around, only Chen Mo's back was seen dribbling towards the penalty area. The turn of the century, Chen Mo knocked the ball twice and turned to deceive Bernardo Silva, David Silva, and Aguero, who were double-teaming. Fernandinho rushed up to fill the position, blocked Chen Mo's route to dribble forward. Rainbow pass. Chen Mo used a rainbow pass that Samba players are most familiar with, passing Samba player Fernandinho. Dropping four people in a row, Stones rushed up. "Choose the ball." Chen Mo made a fake move to break through. Stones subconsciously blocked it and knelt on the grass, but Chen Mo dribbled the ball past him. The fifth one, cut in horizontally with the ball. Company fell to the ground and shoveled. Episode 77. He passed six people in a row and assisted them, and knocked Guatu to his knees. He was pushed to the edge of the cliff again. Chen Mo, who passed Stones, dribbled into the penalty area and cut in horizontally. Continuous breakthroughs. Company's alarm bells had already been raised. When he saw Chen Mo dribbling into the penalty area and cutting in horizontally, Company felt the danger of jealousy. It was so scary. With two consecutive turns, he deceived three people and got rid of them behind him. Two more passes followed. It was like a juggling act. He seemed to see the former football wizard Ronaldinho, the former crazy King Maradona. It shocked him, but he also knew that he had to act quickly. The dangerous muzzle was already on the forehead of his own goal. He didn't dare to go up to block the space and defend Chen Mo closely, because Fernandinho and Stones had just told him with facts. This crazy black-haired boy will successfully break through you in a way you absolutely can't imagine. Company chose a more radical, riskier, but more successful method. Flying tackle. Flying tackle in the penalty area is likely to cause a foul and give teammates a penalty, but Company knew it very well. He has the level to not foul, and in the case of Chen Mo cutting inside, it is the best way, which may destroy the football under his feet. Similarly, the flying tackle thrown out with the whole body can also increase the interception area. In such a small environment, there will not be much space for Chen Mo. So without a trace of hesitation, Company decisively saw Chen Mo's cut-in route and fell to the ground to tackle like a roadblock. DJ. Just when he flew out and blocked the black-haired boy, something unexpected happened to Company. The black-haired boy seemed to know in advance what he wanted to do. A sudden break. He actually stopped abruptly at the speed of sprinting. This was not enough to shock him. What shocked him even more was that his body braked suddenly and stopped. and he was able to stabilize his center of gravity without any stagger, and he quickly and smoothly connected the next move. His right foot was the axis. At the moment when he flew past him, he turned around and pulled the ball with his left foot. A 270-degree turn, almost drew a circle on the grass. At the same time as he turned, his flying tackle had already been shoveled, and because of the inertia of his body, he shoveled forward for a distance. Just let Chen Mo have the space behind him. At the moment of turning, Chen Mo's right leg suddenly exerted force forward and pulled the ball forward with his left foot. From the position in front of his head, he dribbled the ball directly. At the moment when company was desperate, Otamendi filled the position. Replacing him became a roadblock in front of Chen Mo. Otamendi opened his legs and pressed his body center of gravity downward to prevent Chen Mo's confusing movements from sending his body. With his hands behind his back to prevent the football from hitting his arms, he stared at Chen Mo with a serious look. Seeing this move of his teammate, company wailed, "Big brother, you only care about your head and not your butt." He quickly got up and rushed behind Otamendi, but at the moment he started, a black face suddenly rushed out and rushed past him. On the other side, Chen Mo had already taken action. With his legs spread apart, he left himself such a big empty goal. How could Chen Mo not accept it with a smile? He decisively passed the ball straight through. The football pierced Otamendi like a knife, and behind him, Main rushed out suddenly. When Chen Mo was dribbling the ball frantically, he had already rushed forward with all his strength, running wildly from his own half. At this moment, he finally arrived. Chen Mo also spotted his figure, and then he passed the ball directly. Otamendi became the last Manchester City defender to be defeated by Chen Mo. Main got the through ball. He didn't give any chance to Gundogan, who was chasing him, company, who rushed up to intercept, and Otamendi, who turned around. He shot low from close range at Ederson. The ball flew out from Ederson's armpit and fell directly into the net behind him. End of Maradona moment experience card. The moment of scoring. The prompt sound of the system in my mind also sounded instantly. 6. Chen Mo passed 6 Manchester City defenders in a row. He surpassed Maradona. In the end, he passed the ball through Otamendi's crotch and assisted Main to score a goal. 3-5. Liverpool has scored again. Chen Mo was like a god descending from heaven, passing 6 people in a row, passing 1 person in the crotch, and finally giving an assist. It's incredible. This is football. How can it not make people excited? Jean Jun roared excitedly. Zhang Lu was stunned by shock. Although Chen Mo didn't score in the end, this one passed 5 levels and killed 6 generals, and finally assisted through the crotch. It is also no worse than Maradona's 5-player scoring. Just as great. Just as great. Aguero's negative emotion value, plus 323. David Silva's negative emotion value, plus 121. Bernardo Silva's negative emotion value, plus 611. Kompany's negative emotion value, plus 110. Stone's negative emotion value, plus 233. Fernandinho's negative emotion value, plus 1. Kompany's negative emotion value. Otamendi's negative emotion value. Guardiola. Main also did not celebrate. He picked up the ball from the goal and ran 3 laps. Chen Mo also ran back to his own half as fast as his teammates who had made forward runs. But at this moment, a series of system prompts sounded in his mind. This made Chen Mo stunned. He did not gain anything from the first 2 goals, and even his consecutive steals did not gain anything at all. But now a series of crazy triggers. Chen Mo felt bitter in his heart. Ordinary performance, long-range heavy artillery, crazy steals, can no longer cause emotional fluctuations in the group of guys. They all think this is their normal operation. It must be super long and more crazy performance to cause their emotional fluctuations. This is very uncomfortable. The stands are too valued, and it is not good to respect them. Especially for teams that have played against each other, it is less likely to trigger negative emotions. Unless it is a team like Tottenham, which has a grudge. Sidelines. Another goal was scored. Klopp did not celebrate this time. He stared at the big screen, replaying Chen Mo's crazy performance just now. 6 people plus a crotch pass, and an assist at the end. 7 opposing players in total. Except the goalkeeper, there are only 10 players in total, which means that Chen Mo almost beat the entire Manchester City team by himself. This world is too crazy. The most important thing is that such a superb player actually belongs to his own team. Lauke suddenly felt a sense of being overwhelmed by happiness. At the same time, in the Manchester City coaching bench, Guardiola was shocked and knelt on the ground, holding his bald head with both hands. His face was full of disbelief. The figure of Chen Mo just now seemed to overlap with a scene he had seen with his own eyes. That's right. It was Messi, his most proud disciple. After seeing Messi's crazy performance, Guardiola thought no one could do it. But unexpectedly, he witnessed such a scene again. The most important thing is even crazier than Messi's performance. He passed 6 people by force, and finally assisted 1 person through the crotch. He couldn't believe that this scene was real, but that's exactly what happened. What's even more tragic is that this crazy player is not even his own disciple. Buy him. In the summer window, we must buy this crazy guy back regardless of everything. Guardiola is more determined to introduce Chen Mo, but he soon reacted. I'll make it. 3. The first half is just about to end, and the second half has not yet started. Liverpool has already scored 3 goals. It's bad, they really want to reverse. Thinking of these, Guardiola hurriedly climbed up from the grass, but he was a little anxious to climb up and staggered, and almost fell flat on his face. In the end, it was assistant coach Arteta who quickly supported him and prevented him from making a fool of himself. You can't continue to control the ball in the backcourt, you have to attack forward. Guardiola looked at the field, and the players who started to pass and control after the restart were very anxious. The new wave of continuous attacks finally created a wave of energy. As a result, Chen Mo put on a crazy performance, and the morale that had just been accumulated was kicked to pieces. The players started to pass and control again. Guardiola understood. This is a sign of weakness caused by low morale. The backcourt pass control is precisely the loss of confidence in attack. If there is no change, it will be more difficult to play. Substitution. Substitute Kyle Walker. Milner's speed on the wing is not fast. Seize this point and attack fiercely. Substitute Gundogan. Guardiola did not hesitate at the critical moment. He decisively chose to make a substitution. Use Sterling and Kyle Walker to rush to Milner's point. Milner's defensive ability is good. The speed is also okay, but compared with the fast horse, it is definitely far behind. Manchester City made the first substitution. Use Kyle Walker to replace Gundogan. Looking at this situation, they want to attack the wing. Jean June gave an analysis. The effect of the substitution was immediate. After Kyle Walker came on the court, he formed a cooperation with Sterling on the wing and attacked Milner fiercely. Milner could barely handle a fast winger like Sterling, but with Kyle Walker, Milner really couldn't handle it. The two kept passing the ball forward. Crazy acceleration to the end line. It brought huge pressure to Lovren. Chen Mo felt the problem and immediately switched positions with Wijnaldum to Milner's side. He wanted to help Milner fill the position. It worked. With his switch of positions, Sterling and Kyle Walker's charge were solved, but after the two charged and passed Milner, Chen Mo quickly filled the position behind Milner. Sterling was stuck behind him, cutting off Kyle Walker's chance to contact him directly, but the next second, Kyle Walker directly transferred the ball to the middle and went directly to De Bruyne. Without Chen Mo's middle, Liverpool's pressure on Manchester City was greatly reduced. Chen Mo also understood. They were trying to lure the tiger away from the mountain. When I fill in the position on the wing, they will attack the middle. Once I return to the middle, they will grab Milner's explosive point. Let Chen Mo have no choice. Chen Mo rushed to the middle. De Bruyne made a wide-range dispatch and found David Silva on the other wing. That is to not give Chen Mo the opportunity to get too close to the ball. This makes Chen Mo's sweeping ability unable to be fully utilized. David Silva, who got the ball, seized the opportunity and kicked the ball diagonally to the ribs. Henderson raised his foot to block it, but failed. The ball was stuffed into the penalty area. Aguero quickly stepped forward to receive the ball. Van Dijk quickly blocked Aguero. Aguero quickly pulls the ball and turns around, capturing his own body and soul. Van Dijk is tall and turns slowly. In fact, don't look at Van Dijk's tall body. His turning speed is not slow at all. He is not an aircraft carrier of the level of Maguire. On the contrary, his turning speed is very fast, otherwise he would not be the world's #1 defender. The problem lies with Aguero. His turning speed is too fast, and he is also a South American player with unique flexibility. This causes Van Dijk's turning speed to be a little slower than him. The moment the ball is pulled and turned, just before Van Dijk turned back, Aguero's left foot suddenly kicked the football. A burst shot, a sudden cold arrow hit the goal, facing Karius's attack. This is Aguero's characteristic. He doesn't like to pursue angles when shooting. He prefers to shoot above the goalkeeper's face. This will add a sense of fear to the goalkeeper. He will subconsciously lean back and raise his hand to save. But it was this little bit of backwardness that gave the football a moment to enter the goal. After all, no goalkeeper would not be afraid of a ball hitting his face, the weakest part of the body. The same was true for Karius. He suddenly tilted his head back, subconsciously trying to avoid his face from the ball, and because of his awareness of saving, he suddenly raised his hands to save. But this just ruined the big thing. The moment he tilted his head back, the football almost flew past his hair. Bang! A crisp sound of hitting iron. That was the sound of the football hitting the inside of the crossbar. The football hit the crossbar and refracted and bounced into the goal. Beep. The referee immediately blew the whistle and raised his hand to point to the center circle. Manchester City scored. The cheers of Manchester City fans finally rang out in Etihad. This goal was like a basin of cold water, pouring on all the players. It also extinguished the fans' fiery hearts that had just risen in hope. Aguero, Zhao, made a great shot. The ball went in. Manchester City pulled one back. The score was 3-6. Liverpool's gap widened further. This goal dealt a heavy blow to the entire Liverpool team. They were pushed to the edge of the cliff again. After the goal, Aguero rushed to the corner area to celebrate wildly. Behind him, there were some disappointed Liverpool players. Liverpool has to cheer up. It's only the first half. There's still time. don't give up. The moment the ball went in, the passion that had just risen in Jean Jun's heart was completely cooled. Subconsciously, he felt very lost. It seemed as if the front was dark. Even the last words he said were like routine, without a bit of passion. It didn't seem like encouragement at all. Instead, there was a kind of resigned sadness. It's over. Chen Mo was exhausted for a long time. Now I feel that everything is in vain. Aguero's goal kicked Liverpool's hope of advancing away. It's over. The first half of the game is over. In the 45 minutes of the second half, Liverpool has to score 4 goals to complete the reversal, which is almost impossible, even if it is the Istanbul miracle. Liverpool only scored 3 goals in the second half. Don't be so pessimistic. There is still a chance. 3 goals may not mean there is no chance. Even if you tie the score, you can still advance. Awesome, yes. You seem to have forgotten. The Champions League has a home and away goal system. This is not it's the final. We have to score 1 more goal to reverse the situation. A draw is also fine. Yes, yes, yes. There is also a home and away system. If Liverpool equalizes the score in the second half, we will have 1 more away goal than Liverpool. We can definitely advance with 1 more away goal. That's what you said. Then can you guarantee that Manchester City will not score in the second half? Do you really think Manchester City's offensive group is just for show? They scored before the first half. It's over. I'm going to bed. I thought I could see a comeback battle. Who knew the battle ended in the first half? Episode 78. The referee is being bullied. Overturning the table, Chen Mo's amazing back hook. Plop. Watching Aguero rush to the corner area to celebrate wildly. Karius seemed to have his spine broken by the goal just now, and he knelt on the grass in front of the goal. He couldn't control his tears. After all, he messed up. Why didn't he use his face to catch it just now? Why did he hide? Karius fell into great self-blame. Even if he had given an own goal before, he had never collapsed like this. His teammates were attacking frantically. They were playing for their lives. But what about himself? I actually lost the chain. The same in the first round. If I didn't make a mistake, if I wasn't implicated by that bastard Emre Can, I might have lost 2 fewer goals. The current situation would definitely not be so difficult. It doesn't matter. There's still the second half. Suddenly, Karius felt someone approach him, patting his shoulder to comfort him. Raise your head. Chen Mo is now in front of him, facing the sun behind him, and with his handsomeness at the moment, he is like an angel descending. In his darkest moment, he was given a ray of light. It's okay if we lose a goal. At most, we can score 3 more goals in the second half. Van Dijk also ran over to comfort him. Karius nodded heavily, and his heart was full of gratitude towards the two. But in fact, the two could only run over to comfort him. There can't be no goalkeeper, right? Although he has butter hands and his strength is really not good, he is definitely much better than the substitute goalkeeper who was transferred from the second team. Who wants to comfort him? Then there is no one to use him. Manchester City's goalkeeper is crazy, especially Aguero, who hugged his teammates to celebrate, and finally Liverpool complained to the referee, which made them end the celebration. But Aguero scored a goal, and it was obvious that he felt like he was floating on the horse. When he returned to his half, he passed by Chen Mo and deliberately stopped the ball in front of Chen Mo. He danced arrogantly with his hips twisting, using the wind to go east. RS. Wijnaldum was furious and rushed up from behind Chen Mo, wanting to teach Aguero a lesson. Don't. Chen Mo was quick and pulled Wijnaldum. This guy is just provoking. If you rush up, he will lie down and try to trick the referee into giving you a yellow card. What is needed most now is to be calm. It is very obvious that Aguero is just provoking their emotions. Once he is really angry and can't control his temper, he will succeed. Especially if you rush up to argue, this guy will probably fall to the ground directly. In fact, Aguero did plan this way. He danced and provoked, waiting for Chen Mo and the others to rush up to argue. It's all thought out. As long as someone touches him, he will fall to the ground. Because he was facing away from them, Aguero couldn't see the situation of 530 behind him. Looking at his teammates in front of him, Bernardo Silva waved at him anxiously. Aguero danced more vigorously. He thought Bernardo Silva's wave meant that he should work harder, but at this moment, he suddenly felt someone patting his shoulder with his hand. Here it comes. Fuck. It hurts. Referee, they fouled. Aguero immediately wailed. The main player fell down as soon as he was touched. He lay on the ground decisively and wailed at the referee. A sharp whistle blew. It exploded right next to Aguero. Aguero was confused in his heart. Is the referee coming so fast? From the sound of the whistle, is he too close to me? Why do I feel something is wrong? Why don't my teammates rush up to argue? Really, I can't think of anything in the same way. I really don't have any tacit understanding with these guys. What a good opportunity. I want a yellow card. I can also take the opportunity to delay time. But Aguero's fingers covering his face deliberately left a gap. As a result, he saw his teammates' speechless expressions. De Bruyne covered his head, and even collapsed a little. Something is wrong. He suddenly realized that something was wrong, and looked up quickly. He only saw the referee's gloomy face, and there were no Liverpool players around. Chen Mo and Wijnaldum stood far away from him, staring at him with their hands on their hips. Aguero. Who did you say fouled? I just tapped your shoulder. Do you mean I fouled you? Are you trying to touch the referee? The referee had a gloomy face. I have seen people faking falls to touch opponents, but I have never seen people faking falls to touch the referee. Just now, after Chen Mo grabbed Wijnaldum, he backhanded and signaled to the referee. Here is a report of Aguero's disgusting provocation. The dance moves were suspected of racial. The referee rushed up to warn Aguero, but he just slapped his hand. The man fell down. The referee was numb. Aguero panicked and quickly got up from the grass, staring with two big eyes, and wanted to explain to the referee quickly. But the referee didn't waste any words and directly took out the yellow card. Malicious provocation celebration. Fake fall and fell. I'll remember you. I will pay special attention to you. If that dance move appears again, or if you have any fake fall or fell, I will send you off the court immediately, the referee warned coldly. Everyone has subjective consciousness. The referee is also a person. Just now, Aguero's behavior of tampering with him naturally made him subjectively judge that Aguero is not a good person, so he was very strict from beginning to end. In the next game, he will also be more harsh in his penalties on Aguero. The referee reached out to interrupt Aguero. Don't delay the game. Do you want to leave now? Aguero was scared. He ran back to his home court in disgrace. Guardiola, who was in the coaching area, was so angry when he saw Aguero stage such a farce of directing and acting himself to get a yellow card that he jumped up. Aguero. What's wrong with your brain? Are you sick? Can you still play? If you can't play, get off me. A lifetime of fame. Guardiola was broken by this guy. Is that how you cheat? If you don't have the acting skills, can you not learn Busquets? Ha ha ha. I laughed to death. I've never seen such a person who cheats on the referee. Akun's operation made me laugh. Although our Akun is a football player, it doesn't stop him from wanting to win an Oscar. Lack of skills. Lack of skills. After all, he is not from La Masia. He didn't get the true teachings of La Masia Film and Television Academy. Busquets, I asked you to commit a foul and cheat, but I didn't ask you to start with the referee. Finally, the first half of the game. The game ended with Akun's funny performance of cheating on the referee and getting a yellow card. After the kickoff, the referee blew the whistle to end the first half of the game. The whole Liverpool team returned to the locker room with low morale. Manchester City suddenly scored a goal and expanded the score again. It was really a big blow to them, don't say despair, but there was a little more doubt about the idea of reversal in my heart. Chen Mo walked into the locker room at the end of the team. Seeing his teammates with their heads down, he felt that he should do something. Give up? Let me ask you, have you given up? Chen Mo's roar instantly exploded in the locker room. Everyone looked at Chen Mo. Karius pursed his lips, and his morale was the most broken. Although he was comforted by his teammates, it was not enough to rebuild the psychological defense after the collapse of a few words of comfort. It's all my fault, he said weakly. His tears fell again. Retreat, don't cry. Chen Mo glared, his sharp eyes were on Karius, and he scolded him harshly. Then he swept over everyone. Are you willing? He asked loudly again. Give up now. Are you worthy of the fans? Are you worthy of the people who are watching the live broadcast? 3 goals. It's not 30 goals again. Chen Mo stretched out 3 fingers and raised them above his head. There's still half a game left. Are we really doomed to lose? At worst, we'll fight to the death. Even if we die, we'll die on the field. Even if there's only 1 minute left, we'll fight to the death. Not for victory. Just to prove ourselves. Prove that you, Sulla, are not the second generation of Messi. Prove that he is Sulla, the almighty pharaoh of the pyramid. Prove that you, Maine, are not scraps. You are Liverpool's super winger, the smoky Tai Sui, the burning King Kong. Prove that you, Firmino, are not just a shield striker, the weakest Samba number 9. You are also Liverpool's battering ram, the strongest centre forward among the BBFF, Liverpool fans. Prove that you, Henderson, are not Liverpool's biggest fake. You are an all-around midfielder and the captain of the Red Army, WEBA. Chen Mo named everyone. The inflammatory words set off a huge flame in everyone's heart. Finally, there's me. I have to prove that I'm not a Barcelona player. I'm still Liverpool's number 10. We have to prove it. Let the whole world know how terrible Liverpool is now. Let them know. We are the synonym of miracles. Finally, Chen Mo screamed at the top of his lungs. Let's do it. Fuck. It's just a matter of life and death. I'll fight them. Kill Manchester City. I'll die on the field, but I'm still not convinced. The locker room exploded instantly. Everyone screamed with red faces. The depressed mood was dissipated. Klopp, who had been listening outside the locker room door and was also excited by the dance, pushed the door and entered the locker room at the right time. Second half. Lovren, come down. Robertson, come on. Kill Kyle Walker and Sterling, those 2 damn bastards, on the wing. Go forward in the midfield. Hold down Manchester City. Press them down in their half. Remember, attack. Attack. It's attack. Klopp waved his fist passionately. Tell the whole of Europe that the Red Army that once swept across Europe is back. Let them tremble. Let them be afraid. Win. Fight to the death. The second half begins. Klopp made a substitution in the midfield. Remove a central defender, Lovren, and replace him with a wingback, Robertson. We're going to play 253. When Jean saw Liverpool's formation, he was shocked. Klopp is starting to turn the table over and risk his life. Jean was a little excited. Attack with all your strength. Either I kill you or you kill me. Either you die or I die. The game started. Liverpool immediately launched a crazy attack. The whole lineup pressed forward. Even the central defenders Van Dijk and Matip were pressed near the center line. Chen Mo did not press forward. On the contrary, he was very calm and deliberately retreated a little. He stayed near the center circle in front of Van Dijk and Matip to prevent Manchester City from suddenly passing long passes and hitting behind. Guardiola stared at the field solemnly. He felt a huge pressure. Desperate mad dog kicking, heavy metal tornado, frenzied running and fighting in the front field, compressing Manchester City's space and flattening the formation. Crazy pressing and fighting, like a knife, completely split Manchester City's formation. He couldn't help but look at Klopp. Klopp's arms were folded in front of him, with a cruel smile on his lips, and his eyes were extremely sharp. Noticed Guardiola's eyes looking over. Klopp's expression became a little distorted, and his smile became more cruel. Isn't it just flipping the table and risking his life? Klopp can get to where he is today and where he is now. The most important thing is that he is willing to go all out and dare to risk his life, regardless of everything. Isn't it just a fight to the death? I'll give you my life. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Guardiola recalled the Bundesliga years. Liverpool was like this at that time. Once he started to flip the table, it was not as simple as burning his boats and fighting with his back to the water. It was just like a gambler who lost his eyes and went crazy, and all the chips he could put in his hand were all in. I'm just going to fight you to death. I'm going to fight you to death. It's precisely this kind of crazy recklessness that always has unexpected results. Just like now, the team was pressed tightly in the half. Liverpool's front court attack group was crazy and scum against the goal. The three red arrows in the front court kept shooting wildly in the goal, and finally broke the ball out of the penalty area before their own players got the ball. Milner, Wijnaldum, and Henderson outside the penalty area, facing the football, they just shot heavy artillery long range without stopping. Put the heavy artillery missile cluster on their own foreheads. Crazy three-dimensional bombing. This is not a solution. Guardiola shouted at the field, constantly making gestures, indicating to shoot behind him. Play a long pass. Hit the large area of space left by Liverpool's backcourt. Manchester City tried it immediately. De Bruyne made a long pass. Pass the football to Aguero, who was wandering at the top of the arc in the middle. Seeing the pass, Aguero immediately charged towards Liverpool's backcourt. Van Dijk and Matip quickly retreated. Manchester City's counterattack began. The formation quickly pressed forward, and Liverpool's midfielder also retreated quickly. It seemed that Liverpool was about to be caught off guard. At this moment, Chen Mo suddenly rushed out and rushed in front of Aguero. He judged the landing point and locked his eyes on the football falling in the air. But Aguero, who rushed out from behind, was getting closer and closer to him. Manchester City's two wingers, midfielders De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, were also frantically inserted. A gap was formed in the midfield. Even if Chen Mo stopped the football, he could not directly connect with his own midfield. Instead, he would face the opponent's double teaming in his own half, forming an unfavorable situation of fewer people against more. But at this moment, through the God's perspective, Chen Mo found a huge opportunity. The forward attack was too fast, and a large area of gaps appeared on the right side of Manchester City. Chen Mo made a decisive decision. Right in front of Aguero, he jumped high towards the football in the air. He suddenly pressed his body backwards, swung his right leg and fiercely kicked the football in the air. Bang! A muffled sound. The football was suddenly pulled into the air and rushed straight to the side. Negative emotion value from Aguero, plus 666. Watching Chen Mo in front of him, completing the almost impossible action, Aguero was completely unable to hold back. The whole audience was silent. Everyone's eyes were on the football passing through the sky. Oh my god, amazing hook. Chen Mo used a way that no one expected, jumping high in the air, a stunning hook, and passing the ball back to the front court. It was even accurately sent to Salah's feet. He seemed to have no blind spots. Amazing operation. Episode 79. The Roar of the Pharaoh. The Fire King Kong is showing its might, and all Liverpool players are going crazy. Klopp's neck was long, his fists were clenched, and his eyes were fixed on the falling football. His heart was in his throat, and behind him, the assistant coach, the substitute players, the team doctor, they all stood up and stared at the field, as if they were frozen in place. Guardiola's mind was blank. He watched the football fall. Even if it was a hook, it was still smooth and accurate. It was like a locator. It accurately located in front of Salah, and he didn't even need to stop the ball. The moment the football landed on the grass, it formed a rebound, and it didn't bounce up but bounced forward. Salah followed up. No need to adjust. The football was just above his dominant right foot. Push forward with force. Salah ran and accelerated. Stones. defend. At this moment, Guardiola suddenly came back to his senses. He was frightened and sweating. He yelled at Stones anxiously, but Stones had no time to stop him. Salah accelerated again. His top physical fitness was fully displayed at this moment. He accelerated again while accelerating. Salah rushed forward like Bolt in the 100-meter race. He rushed to the finish line that belonged to him. He rushed into the penalty area. Kompany turned around and suddenly flew over. Ederson flew over fiercely. He wanted to set up two barriers in front of him at this moment, but Salah was unreasonable. He shot at a small angle at the lower right corner of the goal. His thigh swung out suddenly. At this moment, all the barriers and all the obstacles were like broken shackles. They were smashed to pieces by the impact. The ball is in. Received Chen Mo's amazing 68-meter hook pass. Salah rushed from the wing. It was like a 100-meter sprint, accelerating and accelerating. Entered the penalty area. Faced with Kompany's flying tackle, Ederson's desperate save, and a calm volley, break through the opponent's goal. At this moment, the Pyramid Pharaoh has descended on the Etihad Stadium. The sword energy spans 30,000 miles, and the sword frosts 14 states. The critical moment. At the most dangerous moment for Liverpool's morale, Chen Mo and Salah, the two of them performed amazingly and pulled Liverpool back from the edge of the cliff. The moment of the goal. Salah's anger seemed to be completely released. He rushed straight to the stands, facing those Manchester City fans who booed him and spoke trash to him crazily. He suddenly raised his fist and hit his chest hard, released the roar from the Pharaoh, the wide-open mouth, the bulging neck, the angry eyes, and the fierce roar. He suppressed the Manchester City fans in the stands in front of him. Some fans who were close to him were frightened and stepped back subconsciously. It's the roar of the Pharaoh. It's like the Pharaoh of the pyramids thousands of years ago, waving his scepter and ordering the attack. At this moment, he is Salah, not the second generation of Messi. He is the Pharaoh Salah of the pyramids. The pride of the pyramids. Maybe everyone doesn't know. What does Salah symbolize in the pyramids? He is the football in the hearts of the people of the pyramids. He symbolizes a hero. This hero is beyond everyone's imagination. Someone in the pyramids once said that if Salah announced his candidacy for president, he would have been the president from the moment he announced his candidacy, just as Jean June said. In front of the big screens in countless bars, pubs, squares, and countless TVs in the pyramids, the football people in the pyramids roared and celebrated wildly when Salah scored a goal. Even the beggars on the street. He roared at the Manchester City fans in front of the big screen in the square after Salah scored a goal. Tears burst out instantly. Salah on the big screen knelt down, opened his arms, and roared hoarsely. Another goal. 4-6. In the 57th minute of the game, Liverpool got a goal back. They are one step closer to their dream, one step closer to finding the glory they once lost. Let's continue. Let's see if Liverpool can follow the footsteps of their predecessors, cross the Etihad in front of them, and reach the road to the top of the mountain that their predecessors once set foot on. I'm excited. This is an amazing overhead kick. It's amazing. Is this something a human can do? This amazing overhead kick assisted Salah to score. It's definitely a glorious defeat. 4-6. There are still 33 minutes in the game, plus the extra time. Maybe there are still 35 minutes left. 2 goals are possible. Fortunately, the TV was not turned off. I feel that Liverpool can still be saved. Miracles can really happen. Since Klopp made substitutions in the second half, Liverpool has gone crazy. It's completely a life and death struggle. Rather die standing, fall on the road of charging and fighting for life. Rather than let others slaughter, there is a trace of giving up. With this spirit, if Dragon Football had it, it would have entered the World Cup long ago. Why do you suddenly feel disgusted? Dragon Football? Would rather die standing? They surrendered without even kicking. Dragon Country is tough in everything. Only Dragon Football is spineless. Substitution. Add defense. Remove Sterling. Remove David Silva. Play 532. Guardiola immediately changed tactics. The situation on the field has changed dramatically now. The attack is impossible. The team has been completely dragged into Liverpool's rhythm. The pass and control can't be passed at all. Continuous goals and continuous bombing have put the players under great psychological pressure. Now we can only add defense and find a way to play a quick counterattack. It can only be like this. Manchester City substitutions. Replace David Silva with Zinchenko. Replace Sterling with Jesus. Change to 532. Looking at this situation, it is obvious that we need to strengthen defense. Play a quick counterattack. At this moment on the Etihad Stadium, Guardiola pulled Zinchenko and Jesus and kept giving instructions. Zinchenko, after you go up, let Stones go to the left. You two must limit Salah. Jesus, after you come on the field, stand at the front and let Aguero lean behind you. You must cooperate with Aguero. Be a stake for Aguero and interfere with the opponent's Chen Mo. Open up space for Aguero. Tell De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva to find a way to push forward together. Attack Liverpool from behind more. Find a way to counterattack quickly. Let Liverpool move forward and retreat back and forth. and consume their physical strength. The war started again. According to Guardiola's instructions, De Bruyne and others on the field really wanted to do something, but as soon as the ball kicked off, Liverpool's players were like soldiers who heard the charge horn and launched a crazy charge. They didn't care about their physical strength at all, and pressed through half the field. They chased them madly, especially Cotham and Bernardo Silva. Manchester City's midfielder relied on the two of them to launch attacks, instigate passes, and move forward. But this time, it was like Manchester City's dual-core engine was stuck. Strong interference. The gears simply couldn't turn. Manchester City was like a stuck machine, playing very uncomfortably. The football was restricted to the backcourt. There was no way to pass the ball. Kyle Walker received the pass and Main rushed up. Milner behind him also rushed out to restrict him. In this situation, Kyle Walker, who was already anxious, became even more anxious. Otamendi ran over to respond. Firmino followed closely behind him. Even if the two could form a cooperation, they couldn't pass the ball forward at all. Instead, they would lose more and more space for passing and running. This vicious cycle continued. Sooner or later, they would lose the ball. Anxious Kyle Walker decided to take a gamble. Facing Main's rush, he pulled the ball horizontally. Look for the right time. He kicked the ball forward along the sideline. Then he started suddenly. The football flew past Milner. Milner quickly stretched out his foot to block it, but he suffered from his short legs and couldn't reach the ball at all. He also stumbled because he took too big a step. Kyle Walker rushed in all the way. He ran forward along the sideline. At the moment when Wijnaldum rushed out, Kyle Walker kicked forward again. Wijnaldum turned and ran towards the ball. Kyle Walker continued to run forward, and on the basis of accelerating, he changed speed and accelerated again. Overtake on the curve. Kyle Walker is a corner dragon on the side. 2 passes to myself 3 seconds later. 3 consecutive accelerations. Got the ball. Too fast. It's just too low. Liverpool is in danger. In the exclamation of Jean June, Kyle Walker ran from the sideline and overtook Wijnaldum, who was running wildly. He got the ball first and directly killed through Liverpool's side. Aguero and Jesus in the middle were running wildly in Liverpool's front court. Kyle Walker, who got the ball, was about to continue to accelerate and rushed to the bottom. A black figure suddenly rushed out. Main. It was Main who appeared. He accelerated wildly to catch up with Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker rushed out from the side. Kyle Walker was frightened and paused, but it was just such a pause. Main aimed at his strength, fell to the ground and shoveled accurately, and shoveled the ball off. Ask for flowers. Lying on the ground, Main quickly passed the ball to Chen Mo, who ran over to respond. Chen Mo received the ball with his left foot, suddenly buckled to the right, and then suddenly pulled the ball back with his right foot. He turned around with a pull and shook off Jesus, who rushed up to press. Main. It's Main. He chased back from the Manchester City backfield wing, and actually caught up with Kyle Walker. He fell to the ground and tackled. He grabbed the ball. Crazy. So crazy. He chased back 90 meters from the wing. Chen Mo got the ball. He dribbled, pulled, turned, and successfully shook off Jesus, who rushed over. Wait, what are Chen Mo and Main going to do? Jean June exclaimed. At the moment when Chen Mo shook off Jesus, Main got up from the ground. The two looked at each other. Main suddenly accelerated. His legs burst out with explosive power in an instant, and he rushed back along the side path along the path he was chasing. At the moment when Main ran out like a cheetah and killed the center circle, Chen Mo dribbled the ball forward and passed De Bruyne, and suddenly raised his foot and made a strong straight pass. The football shot out along the side like a flying arrow, passing directly over the accelerating Ma Bing. Main. Speed up. The moment the football was passed, Chen Mo screamed at Main with his throat. Main, who heard the voice, also saw the football coming out of the window behind him. He accelerated again and pushed the accelerator to the bottom. He suddenly caught up with the football, while running at high speed. Facing Otamendi, who was attacking, he actually completed a quick change of direction and jumped the football horizontally at the same time. 0. The difficult operation shocked the heavyweight fans in the stands. He accelerated and quickly lobbed the ball horizontally, passing the ball over Otamendi's head. He also quickly sideways to miss Otamendi, rushed behind Otamendi, raised his leg and unloaded the football with his thigh, and then sent it forward, and started to accelerate again. The operation was extremely smooth, and it was all completed at high speed. More importantly, Main didn't pause at all. He continued to accelerate into the Manchester City penalty area. He didn't wait for Kompany and Zinchenko in the Manchester City penalty area to react, and didn't give Ederson a chance to move over, and rushed in along the ribs. He shot and scored. Duh. A whistle sounded. The referee raised his hand and pointed to the center circle to indicate that the goal was valid. No celebration. At the moment of the goal, Main lay directly on the ground, gasping for breath. He just accelerated to chase back continuously, tackled the football, and then killed all the way back. He was accelerating madly from beginning to end. He didn't give himself a moment to breathe. This was a huge drain on his physical strength. That was Main. If it were someone else, they would have gotten a stitch in the side. But Main was just a little tired, and after taking a few deep breaths, his breathing became stable. Firmino, who rushed over, pulled him up. Then he returned to normal. Crazy goal. Too crazy. Main, who was chasing all the way back, sprinted back immediately after tackling the ball. After shaking off De Bruyne, Chen Mo made a 70-meter straight pass. Main actually caught up, and while accelerating crazily, he picked up the ball and changed direction to pass Otamendi, rushed into the penalty area along the ribs, and scored with a lob. Bold pass, crazy chase. This is definitely the craziest cooperation in football history. Smoky Tai Sui, Burning King Kong, Main is worthy of the name. Liverpool won back a goal again, 5-6. There are still 25 minutes left in the game, 1 goal difference. Liverpool still has a chance. Is the reversal really coming? Too cruel. The continuous return run adds up to almost 200 meters. Main can actually accelerate. I feel that if he went to sprint, he would have won the gold medal long ago. Just now Main accelerated and sprinted. Chen Mo made a straight pass. I thought these two people were crazy. Chen Mo's straight pass was really amazing. A straight pass of 70 meters, a direct cut on the court. Is the reversal really coming? Pharaoh Sulla just roared like a king, and then Hu Liao Jin Gang came with a wild feast. Liverpool is killing like crazy. Axe-heavy artillery, super arc free kick, and assists that dribbled past 6 people. The amazing backhook assist just now, plus the 70-meter straight pass now. Chen Mo is really awesome, so you say. I suddenly realized that Chen Mo is really awesome. There are a total of 5 goals now, 2 of which were scored by Chen Mo himself, and the remaining 3 were all scored by Chen Mo assists, and most importantly, they are all difficult assists. He passed 6 people and assisted, a backhook in the backcourt, a 70-meter super through pass, any of which can be boasted for a lifetime. Is Manchester City going to be ruined? I feel that it may be ruined for sure. Boo. Episode 80. Who dares to draw his sword and mount his horse? Become my jade-faced butcher. The gods descended to earth to capture Etihad. Beautiful. Main. You are my Bale. Klopp rushed out of the bench. He danced with his hands and feet and threw a crazy farmer's 3 punches. It was so inspiring. If someone asked now, who do you think is stronger, Bale or Main? Klopp would definitely sneer. He replied to the other person lightly, Bale is a piece of shit. He ran back and forth like this, and finally scored a goal. Can Bale, a guy with rough feet, do it? Is he worthy of comparing him with his own Main? Standing on the sidelines, Klopp suddenly had a kind of pride to compete with me. What? De Bruyne, the master of passing? I have Mo. What is De Bruyne? Can De Bruyne make a 70-meter accurate straight pass? That guy is just a rubbish who can pass the ball. My Moku is omnipotent, boss. What should we do? Arteta glanced at Klopp, who was celebrating, and walked quickly to Guardiola's side. Huh? Guardiola looked at the target blankly. His mind was still blank. What should I do? What the hell can I do? Klopp's tactical system completely restrained his tactical system. There is indeed a subtle relationship between the mad dog style of play and the passing and controlling system. Sometimes the traditional system can restrain the opponent, and sometimes the mad dog style will completely restrict the passing and controlling. As long as one side is successfully restricted, then it is difficult for the restricted side to change the situation. That's why, when he and Klopp led the team to absolute, there were often big score games, and often one side was completely defeated. The reason lies in this. Now it is obvious. The restrained team is his Manchester City team. Adjust? Crack? How? Messi is not in the team again. How can you let me break the deadlock? It's just 1 goal short of 833. They are likely to reverse us. You must have a way, right? Arteta stared at Guardiola with hope and fiery eyes. Mainly in his eyes. Guardiola is too calm, hands in pockets. After watching the opponent score, there is no ripple. Even the expression on his face did not change, and he looked like he had everything under control. This made Arteta feel his boss must have a killer move that he has not used. But Guardiola felt guilty. Facing such a fiery look from his disciple, he felt a little ashamed. Let him say in person that he has no way. He couldn't say it. It's too embarrassing. It ruins his status as a master. Let Sane play. Substitute Aguero pulled his hand out of his pocket and patted his bald head. He made arrangements with all his might. What should we do after Sane comes on the field? Arteta asked. Guardiola glanced at him. What the hell? So many words? Are you asking 100,000 whys? Let him go on the field and see if he can have a chance. If he doesn't have a chance, it's over. #9. Leaving a word behind, Guardiola returned to the bench and sat down, put his hands in his pockets again, covering up his trembling fingers at the moment. God has his own way. Who can escape from the heavens? He once beat Ferguson so hard that his hands trembled, and now he was beaten by the madman of the tank country until his fingers trembled. Now he felt Ferguson's helpless despair. There was nothing he could do. God, please give me some face. Don't let Liverpool score again. Don't let them reverse. I am willing to exchange my apprentice Arteta's life for 10 years. No. 20 years. No. 30 years. If 30 years doesn't work, let him die now. As long as my team advances and Liverpool doesn't reverse, I can let Arteta serve you now, Guardiola muttered madly in his heart. He made a trade with God. Arteta didn't know that his master had sold him out. He was still changing players and telling Sane to attack. A bad ball. Sane came on the field to replace Aguero, who was already at the limit of his physical strength. The game resumed. Stones just made an extreme tackle, shoveling the ball under Henderson's feet out of the sideline. Henderson threw the ball, throwing the ball to Salah, who was retreating to meet him. The two of them quickly cooperated with one pass, played tricks on Stones, who was blocking. Henderson received the pass from Salah again and moved forward quickly with the ball. At this moment, Bernardo Silva rushed over. Henderson did not choose to fight hard, but broke through Bernardo Silva himself. Time is running out. Liverpool is still 1 goal behind. Pass the ball now, and then move forward quickly. So Henderson quickly crossed the ball and passed the ball to Chen Mo. The moment Chen Mo received the pass, Milner quickly moved forward. Fernandinho rushed up to block Chen Mo immediately. However, Chen Mo suddenly turned around with the ball and retreated. This made Fernandinho a little confused about what Chen Mo was going to do. He was afraid that this was a trap set by Chen Mo for him. Once he caught up, leaving a gap behind him would cause a loophole in his defense. He hesitated whether he should follow him. But at this time, Chen Mo, who had retreated a few meters, suddenly turned around with a dunk. Fernandinho was shocked. The moment he made up his mind to rush towards Chen Mo had already started his pass. He caught Milner, who was advancing. He made a long pass, and the football passed over Fernandinho's head and fell directly towards his ribs. Milner rushed over. This guy didn't even look at the situation in front of him, and he kicked a powerful shot. The football was like a meteorite falling from the sky. Without any arc, it whizzed through the gap between Zinchenko and company. It hit the door held by Ederson. Again, Ederson was about to collapse. In the second half, there was a lot of panic in front of his goal. The defenders in front of him were like sieves. They just shot the ball casually. The same position, the same person. At the beginning of the second half, Milner had already kicked the same long shot twice. Fortunately, the position was right. Ederson quickly moved his body sideways, seeing the football getting bigger and bigger in his sight and getting closer and closer to him. He raised his hands fiercely and pounced on the football. Duh! A crisp sound. The football hit his gloves hard. The power was much higher than the previous few times, which made Ederson's hands numb. What's so strong about this? He complained wildly in his heart. Feeling that the football was about to slip out of his hand, he bit his back teeth, and the muscles in his arms suddenly burst out with amazing explosive power. He drived the powerful shot out of the penalty area. This is the best he can do. What do you guys do? Can you improve your defense? Focus. The moment he kicked the ball out, Ederson angrily roared at his defender teammate in front of him, expressing his dissatisfaction. But at this moment, he suddenly saw a scene that surprised him even more. Firmino, who had retreated from the penalty area. At the moment Milner shot, he ran back and wanted to rush into the penalty area. But before he could rush into the penalty area, the football was lifted out by Ederson. Company chased out of the penalty area and came to the landing point of the football, trying to kick the football away. Firmino sped up in a hurry. When he was 1 meter away from Company, he gave up the physical confrontation and competed for the second landing point. He chose to use the inertia brought by the accelerated running, and his legs suddenly kicked the ground. He threw himself out. Like a carp leaping over the Dragon Gate, his body spread out in the air, overpowering Company, and using his head to hit the football in advance. The football was hit like this. It flew towards the goal immediately. Ederson was still cursing in front of the goal, but when he saw himself leaping and heading the ball, everyone was stunned. The two defenders, Otamendi and Zinchenko, were attracted by Ederson's scolding. They didn't notice the ball at all. It means Ederson helped. Ederson was stunned for about 2 seconds, but these 2 seconds made him miss the best starting time. When he saved the ball had passed his palm and went into the goal. Milner made another powerful volley. Ederson made a desperate save and lifted the ball out of the penalty area. It looked like Ederson was very angry and expressed his dissatisfaction to his defensive teammates. An unexpected incident occurred. The ball went in. Firmino made a diving header outside the penalty area, overpowering Company, who was clearing the ball. Header goal. Header goal from 18 meters away. It's tied. It's tied at 6-6. Miracle. Liverpool tied the score. They caught up. They created a miracle at Etihad. Based on the home and away goal advantage, Liverpool is now ahead. They succeeded. Reversal. Miraculous reversal. In the 89th minute of the game, almost at the last moment, Firmino made a diving header and tied the score. They scored 6 goals at Etihad Stadium. Who dares to draw his sword and mount his horse, to be my jade-faced butcher? That night Firmino was Liverpool's savior. Firmino fell on the grass, rolled and raised his head, looking towards the goal. At the moment of the goal, Firmino felt as if his whole body was electrified. He roared and rushed to the corner area. and the corner area happened to be the away fans' area. Crazy Liverpool fans rushed to the edge of the stands like crazy. They raised their arms excitedly and roared at Firmino with red faces. Firmino roared and made a celebration action of drawing a bow and arrow, the weakest link of the red arrows. The Samba is the best a bad center forward. He is only fit to play as a supporting player for the rest of his life. The weakest number 9 in the history of Samba, the shame of the number 9 jersey. I'm going to fuck you. I'm a shield striker, but I can score goals, kill the ball, and play a key role. Firmino at this moment. It was as if he had released all the pressure brought by doubts in an instant. Even if he is destined not to be a top player in this life, but it's enough to be a hero at this moment. Maine, who was closest to him, was the first to rush up and knock him to the ground and press him. Milner, Chen Mo, Henderson, Sulla, Wijnaldum, Van Dijk, Matip. Everyone rushed towards Firmino excitedly the moment he scored, and pressed forward one after another. Firmino, you are a hero. You are the greatest number 9 in the history of Samba, the strongest center forward. Reversed. You scored the reversal goal. We are going to advance. Who else? Klopp rushed to the edge of the coaching area and waved his fists in the direction of Guardiola, roaring like a lion. From the Bundesliga to the Premier League, all the resentment suppressed by Guardiola for so many years has been released. In the duel between you and me, I always lose and always fail, but they won the most important game. That's enough. There's still time in the game. Don't relax. You must take the victory home, he yelled at the field. Guardiola was still sitting on the bench, as if nothing had happened. What does it mean to be powerless? Guardiola was deeply touched at this moment. This moment was really powerless. The game resumed. Manchester City players may have learned from their shame and then became brave, or they may have suddenly felt a sense of urgency at this moment, or they may have been unwilling to accept that the victory and promotion they had won were kicked away. They started a crazy attack. De Bruyne initiated it. The whole team pressed forward. In an instant, the Liverpool players, who had not yet recovered from the joy of the goal, were instantly penetrated. Bernardo Silva made a cross. Kompany rushed all the way from his own penalty area into Liverpool's penalty area. He jumped high, facing the football with a violent header. The football hit the goal fiercely. Karius jumped in the wrong direction and watched the football fall towards his own goal. The whole stadium was silent. Everyone stopped breathing and stared at the football. But at this critical moment, Liverpool was pushed to the edge of the cliff and was about to fall from the cliff. Van Dijk rushed out. He ran back frantically, and seeing that the football was about to fall into the goal, he flew forward desperately to block the hole. He raised his long legs and kicked the football with all his strength, kicking almost a sure goal out of his own penalty area. Van Dijk, he blocked Kompany's sure goal. Clearance on the goal line. He saved Liverpool. Saved Klopp, Jean-June shouted excitedly. However, at this moment, the situation on the field changed suddenly again. The cleared football was taken by Milner, who immediately passed it forward 3.6 to Firmino. Firmino quickly passed the ball to Sulla. Stones, who was retreating, held Sulla's position tightly, not giving him any chance to enter the penalty area. Sulla had no choice but to go down the bottom. He quickly dribbled the ball and suddenly accelerated, but Stones actually followed him and blocked his chance to cross the ball. He quickly pressed Sulla. Sulla was forced to turn around to protect the ball, but at this moment, he saw Chen Mo, who was rushing forward all the way and rushing to the top of the penalty area. Mo, he yelled. He kicked the ball hard. It's bad. The pass is too big. The moment the ball was passed, Sulla secretly cried out that it was not good. The power of the pass was not controlled well. The football passed over Chen Mo's head and fell to the left behind him. Otamendi, who rushed out to defend Chen Mo, was leaning against Chen Mo's right front and leaning against Chen Mo. Seeing the ball falling behind him, he quickly stuck to Chen Mo, not giving Chen Mo a chance to turn from right to left. Seeing the football falling in the air from the corner of his eye, Chen Mo decided to take a gamble. He suddenly made a spinning kick. With his left foot as the axis, he suddenly swung his right leg and turned behind him. A fast spinning kick. If you don't give me a chance to turn around from the front, I'll kick from the back. The football didn't fall on the grass, but was still in the air. Chen Mo's spinning kick directly started a volley explosion. The right heel slammed hard on the football in the air. Lore. The ball went in. 7-6 Lore. In the 90th minute of the game, Chen Mo scored a goal from outside the penalty area with a spinning kick. God came down to earth to kill Manchester City. Liverpool completed an unprecedented reversal. They conquered Etihad. Chen Mo is a miracle.